live.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Why are we
Gina.
leaving this gap? I'm Taylor.
Yeah. And we have a
And
special
soon-
invisible guest.
Soon we will have a guest. Her name is Miss Tessa, Dr. Tessa
Tessa.
Fox.
Does she go by just
Kulikowski.
Dr. Tessa?
Just saw these.
Because I always
sticky
call
notes.
her Dr. Tessa.
I mean,
We have.
oh,
Are we ready?
Look who it is.
Dr. T is
We
in
just
the
went
house.
live,
Yeah.
but we're just chitting and
We're
chatting. We
chitting
don't
and
want to
chatting,
rush
so just
this
close the door
goddess
and
of a
come
woman.
on in. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Okay,
Well, and that way we
Dr.
could do like our local news,
Local
and
news.
our If you're wondering why
do I have
the fancy
this?
headdress,
Which, I feel like my style has evolved to a point beyond logic. And so I will wear costume pieces. And
See,
people
now
say nothing.
Yeah, they
to
say
me.
nothing. They don't even think you're dressed.
Like one
But
day,
now you see why. All my life,
yeah,
this has been my life.
Yeah.
I have worn a man's necktie to work, and my husband questioned
before she leaves the house, she's like,
Is
"Oh, is it costume day?" And she was like,
I go,
"Nope, it's
every
called fashion.
day.
Look it up.
every day is costume day.
Yeah, but if someone doesn't question what I'm wearing at least 3 times a week, I'm not doing it right.
That's true. You're not doing it right.
So
why are you wearing
am I
this?
wearing this? So thank you for asking. This Friday is
2 days from
so
now.
on December 20th, 3 days from now.
Oh, today's only Tuesday.
It is, thank goodness. We have our small company party. And if you're thinking, wow, that sounds so fun, I hope they have a good time, stop it right now and get over here. We have tickets for sale on
Let's explain that, because everyone says
Yes.
I don't work for a small company. I'm a
Like,
solopreneur, or I work for a big company, but I work remote.
Yeah.
It's basically for
If you
I
this
want to
is
sing
this
the
is
Beatles
your
song.
holiday
This is
party.
for all the lonely people.
This is your holiday party if you want a holiday party. Or if you want a different one, if yours is boring.
And it
or
started
small.
because we owned a small company, our marketing agency, that we always wanted to have a big Christmas party. But you're like, it's hard to have like a
But,
dance party
like,
and
the
dress up.
employees were remote
with
until
12
the people were
people.
here. They were like with significant others. You're like, there's 13 of us.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, you know what? Now at the village, let's make a party for all the small companies and all the solopreneurs and all the lonely people.
So it started
Just
that
looking
way.
for
And
somewhere
now
to
it really
dance.
is like if you're remote, if
Yeah.
you're like company small, if you're a solopreneur, if you don't like yours,
We
if
want to
you
dance
want
with
to
you.
come eat food, dance, and have a good time and dress
And
up.
Really exciting.
What is
We
it?
have a
We have
live band.
this
The live
year.
band
It's
is
called Lucky Catch.
Lucky Catch. I was going to say crazy lucky. Crazy lucky Asian. No, that's crazy rich Asians. But if
No,
you're a crazy rich
Lucky
Asian, we
Catch.
want you there as
Yeah,
well.
if you're
At Lucky Catch is going to
crazy
be
poor
playing.
white person too.
We want you all.
Whatever you want. Whoever wants to be here.
Yeah, we're going to have a really fun time. Every year we've done this, and it started out, I think 2 years ago or 3 years.
2 years ago.
This is
2
our
years ago.
fourth, I think our fourth year
Third year.
of being open.
Oh,
Third-
yeah.
It's our fourth holiday
It's our fourth
season.
holiday season.
And
So-
and so we had our first one a couple years ago,
It doesn't
and it
close.
was wildly crazy
It's
fun.
broken.
And then last year we had a bigger party.
Yeah.
And it was wildly crazy. Some people did get really crazy.
Me and Tessa.
We
We ended
and
up
Tessa.
closing out the
We
night to
do
Bohemian
have-
Rhapsody, where we were like
We
going in everyone's
do
faces.
we have photos. Oh yes,
You can
just
take it out.
it
You
off
can
the
move
s-
it,
yeah.
whatever you want.
We've decided that it's better to hold the microphones because otherwise people get too far
I mean,
away.
she's a pro.
I am a pro.
Oh, that's true.
She's a pro. She knows.
This is
Hello?
this is Dr. Tessa.
it's
I
working.
don't know. I'm gonna start calling you Dr. T.
I mean, if you're out there, I see one
I signed my
viewer.
signature, Dr. T, for my students.
Oh.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Dr.
I'm
T.
gonna
and
be
I'm
one
Ice
of her
Cube.
students. Yeah, Ice Cube,
Yeah.
Ice Baby. Dr. T, which I forgot you were on our podcast a year ago.
Wow.
Maybe it was like
It
around
might have
a year
been
ago.
2.
Maybe it
Yeah.
was 2 years
I think
ago
it was 2 years ago.
when you first moved into the village.
And
Yeah.
we were like,
Yeah.
Dr. Fox, it's such
Yeah.
a cool name.
And then you're like, it's
It's
Dr.
Dr. Tessa
Tessa
Fox Kulikowski. Thank you very much.
Kulikowski, which is a great last name.
It's a great last name.
long.
Yes. So welcome first to our final episode of
Of
Sitting
the-
on the Couch.
yeah.
with our
with our
therapist, with
therapist.
the couch we never did get.
Yeah.
Should we plug our podcast?
Yes. You
Yes.
also
We
have
need
another
to keep
podcast.
doing it.
I know. I still haven't even uploaded. I'll do it.
All of them.
Do you
Look
have
out
you
on
have some
Christmas.
out there
We have-
so people can find them?
5 or 6 out.
We have 5 or 6 out, and we have 2 that will be dropping on Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, under the
How
Christmas
exciting!
tree. How
What is the
exciting.
podcast? This.
Yes,
Yes.
sorry. I know we just throw you off.
I know,
Really
it's
what
okay.
we should do so that we don't is we can make this part bigger so we'll see comments. So definitely give us your comments and questions for
Yeah,
Dr.
ask
Wade.
us questions.
But
I like
what's the
seeing how
name
many
of your
people
podcast?
are watching.
Is
Oh,
it
it's
in?
called
Sex
Is It In?
Talks
Sex Talks with Dr. Tessa.
and Taylor.
Taylor.
And Taylor. Yeah. Taylor's always the sidekick.
I know. I am. You know what? I've learned in my life that I am a really good
She's a
sidekick.
good wing person.
You're not a sidekick in our
But
podcast,
I have main
though.
character energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm a sidekick.
you're not an NPC.
Because you two are the like, I'm gonna start this thing and do this thing, and I'm like, I'll help.
Yeah.
yeah,
you are.
that's true.
That's
That's
me.
true.
Which we talked about that in our therapy session
In the last
2 weeks
therapy
ago
session,
about
we did talk about
she
that.
needs to stop being the helper.
Because we've talked about it.
Yeah.
How
Her-
I
she
believe
always
that
wants to
narrative. I'm like,
be-
why would you want me around if I'm
If
not
I'm not a
helpful?
helper.
So now constantly my mother
like,
just
"You're
walks
not a
around saying,
helper.
you're not
You're
helpful
not
at all.
helpful
And
at
now
all."
we have another issue.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, where do I fit? Where's my role in the family then?
I'm not a helper. Yeah, she's
Not a helper,
struggling.
and
She's
now my
struggling.
mom's saying I'm not
Um,
helpful at all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But Dr. Tessa.
But we were
yes,
just talking about the small company
small
party.
company party.
Oh yes, I will be there.
On Friday, dancing your
I didn't know for
buns
sure.
off.
I
Yeah.
didn't buy tickets yet.
I mean that as long as you're coming.
No, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You have a live band. How can I
There
not
you
go?
go.
Right, man.
know.
Lucky catch. We are a lucky catch to get
Yeah.
them because I've listened to their music on YouTube. Super fun. And Miles, who's comes here for a networking group.
He's the president of a BNI chapter.
Oh,
who
I
comes
didn't.
here.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know
Of
that.
The BNI 6th degree.
Salute to
Recent
you, President.
presidency.
Yeah.
So
And then Chris, I think his name is, or Craig,
Craig
is
Craig,
the
it's
drummer.
Craig.
You're probably
you would
not
know him
listening
because
to
he's
this,
always
but-
wearing those backwards
yeah, like a
kangaroo
little.
hat.
Is it called a kangaroo hat?
It has a kangaroo on it.
Oh, okay. It's like a little
Okay,
French
if
paper
you've
boy.
seen, well,
Paper
no,
boy.
it's less. It's not newsy boy because it's
Newsboy.
like those are a little floppier. These are like
Oh yeah, it's kind of very
it's like
firm.
a tight,
yeah.
firm. But
And then
okay,
the
if you've
bill-
seen The Office, the episode where Date Mike comes out, you know that episode with Date Mike.
Of course I do.
Yes, thank you so much. It's that hat backwards.
Wait, who's wearing this hat?
the drummer in
Craig,
the
the
band.
drummer in the band.
Oh,
He
okay.
used to he used to be in the BNI chapter.
was
He's
also
retiring,
here.
so he doesn't come in anymore.
Yeah.
But he's
Now
in the
he's
band.
just now he's actually focusing. The reason he's no longer he sold his
Focusing on
business
the
or
band?
retired is he's focusing on getting the band. Like they're doing big gigs. Yeah,
It's fun.
That's
yeah,
exciting.
know.
very exciting.
And I also found out, so we need to talk to him more. He used to be like a professional skier. He traveled the world. He's been like
Craig?
a photographer. He's been all these had all this cool, fun, adventurous life.
So we can be the girls, the fangirls in the front watching the band going,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
His kangaroo hat, date Craig.
yeah. So yeah, so that's this Friday. If you still want to get tickets, you can go to
Oh, for sure.
thevillageworkspace.com, and it is the Village Workspace
The
dot
Village Workspace.
com. Yeah, the villageworkspace.com/events.
Remember when we used to have to say www.
Dot.
http://
Thank goodness we don't have to do that
No, you're
anymore.
just like people know that now.
They-
Or
yeah,
you
they
can
used to say
literally
W-
type in thevillageworkspace.com and it brings you there.
True, and
Yeah.
it just say coolest co-working space. It probably brings you there too.
Yeah.
If you're in Denver.
I agree with
Yeah. So yeah, that's this Friday. And now let's dive into our combo.
Oh, Dr. Tessa Fox
Yeah.
Kulikowski.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
In the house.
Now that I know where to look.
Well, we want to know, how did you get into your line of work? Like, how did you decide I want to be a therapist or a social worker?
It's been a journey. So, like I talked about on the neighborhood back in the day.
Back in the day. I
Um,
should have looked up the episode number, but
That's okay.
yeah, we'll
I
we'll
think
grab
it
that
says
and put it
something
in
like
here.
Dr. Fox.
That's true. If you just look for
it up.
Tessa.
That was my first podcasting experience. I've come a
It
long way.
was?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she got hooked.
Wow.
I got hooked.
Started
Okay,
her
I
own.
love that.
Yeah.
I love when
got
we
a
get people in
sidekick.
here and they're super nervous and they think they need all these notes and prep. And then they realized, wow, we just
This is
sat
just
and had a
fun.
conversation. And they had a great time.
You two are really good hosts, though. Like you're
That's
easy to
just
talk to.
gosh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, more about me.
And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
let's enough about me. Let's talk
Enough
about,
about
you.
them.
Yeah.
So I went to undergrad for women's studies, and I had a mentor during that time who ran Project Shape, which was sexual health and peer education, and I loved it.
Cool.
So I was president of that club. I got really
course you were.
involved in it.
Of course you
Yes.
were.
Both of you. You're like, I can't just be in this club. I
you
want to be
can't-
president.
No, you should never just be in a club. Take over.
No.
Take charge.
And I was
No.
great at it.
Yeah.
I was great. So I did this sexual health program or club. And then I was majoring in women's studies. And this mentor who ran the club with me was like, okay, Tessa, what are you going to do after you graduate? And I was like, I don't know. I was working
Did
at,
you have any idea?
No.
No.
I was working at Chili's at the time.
Which that's a good transition.
She was the president of Chili's.
I was the president of Chili's, CEO of that
Of
organization.
sprinkles in the milkshakes. That's what I
She was
did.
like,
my
I
item.
also
Maybe-
Miss Blossom.
I have to say, I think that's a different restaurant.
Yeah. That's
Aussie,
Outback.
I am the babyest back.
That's when she learned that babies got back. And she's like, wow, that's sexual studies. But no, I was just saying Chili's. I also worked at Chili's when I was really, really young.
Yeah.
And I
Oh, you too.
I know.
Such parallel lives.
I know, for real. I didn't know
love the
that
fact
until this
you could
moment.
make for somebody special. You could put extra sprinkles in the chocolate, whatever they were called. They were
Milk
like it was kind of like a shake, but they were in big mugs and
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
they were
Yeah.
super thick like a frosty.
I think they were called
Maybe they-
diabetes.
I think
it's what they
and
were
I was
called.
and I was adding to it. So if
Diabetic
you
coma.
came to my section 7 at Chili's in California, I'm sorry that you're shooting up with
You now
insulin.
have insulin.
It was me. I was putting that.
But was it worth it? Was your birthday extra special?
Yes.
I'm sure it really was.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. That's hilarious.
So you're trying to
You're
figure
working
out.
at Chili's. You're the president of a club. You're the president of Chili's.
Yeah. And I was like at the point at Chili's where I like kind of did run the show, my show, where I was like, I'm only going to work between 12 and 3. Like, this is what my schedule is. And my
They're like,
boss at
do you
the
want to
time
make more
says-
than everyone else? Great.
Yeah, your boss says.
Like, we'll
"You need
pay
I
you
didn't want to
twice.
work.
We love you.
I was a senior. I wanted to go out. I wanted to party.
So
I didn't
funny.
want to do any of that. I was like, listen, his name was Niall. I loved him.
Listen,
Niall.
Niall.
Niall
Listen,
from Chili's
Niall.
in Glenmont, Glenmont, New York. I was like, this is what I want to do. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
So I did it. And then I was like, this has been a good
That
experience.
is just a business lesson for any of you listening.
Yeah.
It's tell them what you ask for what you want.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
so I was like, to this mentor, Carol Stanger. Hi, Carol.
She's
I was,
watching for sure.
I'm gonna send it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't talked
Carol.
to her in a while. Hi, Carol.
Good job.
Love you.
Good mentorship.
She was, I was like, I'm gonna work at Chili's for a while. Like, I'm gonna take some time off and work at Chili's. And she was like,
no,
you're not.
You're not.
you're not gonna do that.
Good
She
for
was
her.
Another
like,
great business tip for women: when you see somebody younger and you see the potential in them, push them.
yeah, because she was like, this is what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not gonna go to school, and then you're gonna work at Chili's, and then you're gonna get stuck at Chili's.
Yep.
And I was like,
You'll,
oh,
you'll become the
that's-
manager. You'll take Niall's job.
Yes.
right. And I was like, that's like no shame in that game, but that's not
That's not what
my
you were-
dream.
Yeah.
And she was like, you should probably go for social work. And I was like, tell me more. What does that mean? And she was like, you could do therapy. And there's this program in Pennsylvania at Weiner University where you can do your dual degree in social work and human sexuality studies.
Do they call it Weiner University?
Weiner? No, it's Weiner.
Her 7th grade mind.
Weiner University
No,
Sexual Health.
Widener.
Oh, did you hear Weiner?
I heard Weiner.
I heard Weiner.
Oh,
but I
my
yeah,
D is
wide.
silent, I
So
guess.
we were like, Weiner.
There is, I feel like there is a Weiner University. somewhere.
No. Can you imagine taking sexual studies at Weiner University?
Maybe I should start it. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's a missed opportunity.
There is a college in Kansas called Friends University of Central Kansas. Say
Friends?
FUCK.
No.
Yep.
Why would
Love
they
that.
not
It's
change
in
that?
Wichita.
Why would they not change the name?
I'm gonna start a sexuality program there.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so
wow.
Widener.
So Widener.
Okay.
Yes. I
Now-
guess I do kind of say it like that, but it's Widener,
Okay.
Chester, Pennsylvania. So she was like, you should go for social work, but there's this program and you should talk to one of my former students. Hey, Jen Goldberg.
Oh my gosh, so many
Jen.
shout outs.
I know. So I talked with Jen. We had a lot of similarities too, which was kind of weird. And she was like, I loved it. I work in Philly now. I do this. And I was like, yeah, I'll apply. I'll try. And so I just applied to a few different social work schools. And I did my interview day at Widener. I'm pretty sure I had the flu that day,
Oh,
Ooh, wow.
gosh.
but
But you nailed it.
I nailed it. And
Of
I fell in
course.
love with it.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of where my journey started.
I'm curious because whenever I hear social work,
Mhm.
I think of
This is a common
it
misconception.
is. And I've heard several
Like
of our
what child
therapists.
protective
Yes,
services.
I think of child protection or going into homes and doing social work. But yet, social work is like, describe that.
So social work is really broad. And the way that I like to describe social work is more of like a social justice and advocacy, mental health programming.
So
or
it does have
field.
to do with, yeah, social advocacy. So it does have to do with kind of government, legal,
It can,
but it doesn't.
but I'll
always
be
have
honest
to.
with you, I've never done any type of like Department of Human Services work.
Right. And I guess that's the difference. You get out of
It's
social
what
work and you
department
go
you're in.
into Department of Human Services, then you are going into homes. But I think we always think of social workers as somebody who goes out and
Yeah.
visits.
Yeah, and
kids.
that's a very common misconception. I think it's like, oh, social workers go in and take people,
Right.
take kids, and like, no, nobody wants to take your children.
Right.
That's like, let's be clear about that. And people who do work for DHS are like underpaid.
Yeah. Such a hard
um,
job.
and it's very undervalued. So I think that job is really, really hard.
So when you're going into school for social work, you always pick a lane,
You can, yeah. So
but
like,
you don't have to.
there's macro level social work, which would be like government funding, policy type work.
Okay.
And then there's like micro, which is clinical work.
Okay.
Right. And
Oh.
so that was my lane, was clinical work with a specialization in human sexuality studies.
Okay.
And so I didn't plan to go for my doctorate. One of the professors was like, Tessa, you should do this. And I was like, okay.
It turns out you're pretty malleable.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
You
easy
can-
to persuade.
You can persuade me to do many things, mostly fun. That wasn't so fun, but I did it.
Oh,
I
it'd be a
finished
lot of
it.
work, yeah.
Wow. 3 children later. I
So
did it.
you did go to school while you were having kids.
So I finished my master's program child free,
Okay.
childless.
Childless.
And then my first semester post comps, which means like I had taken all my doctoral coursework and I had taken my testing to like start research. I was pregnant with my
Wow.
first. I had found out. And like honestly, I don't know that I would have finished my doctorate without them, because I was like
Oh, interesting.
dragging my feet before.
And
I
why
had
did
them.
that motivate you? I would think it would go the opposite, going, okay, I can't do all of this.
Honestly, like I gave birth to 3 kids unmedicated. I could do anything,
Whoa.
Love.
You really can.
right?
Love.
Like this is just another labor of love, right? It's just another.
That's
She got a
Baby,
good
yeah.
head on her shoulders, this one.
And we've met your mom. She raised you so well.
Yeah,
and we
my
love
mom's
her.
great, and so is my dad. Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Matt.
So okay, so you get your doctorate.
Mhm.
And did you at that point decide, okay, I want to go into
No, so let me backtrack a little bit. So even before I started my doctorate, I interned 2 places. One was a domestic violence shelter, and another was
Whoa.
CHOP. It was at CHOP, Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, doing
CHOP?
Philadelphia, doing.
She says it like we know.
like,
She's
like we
you
know. Oh yeah,
CHOP.
chop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Chop
Chop.
House?
like with
Is
Gordon
that back into
Ramsay
food?
or
Oh, chop.
True.
Chop.
There's
Yeah.
Children's Hospital here, but it's like I guess it would be
They don't
called
Chod.
Chode. Chode. I can't.
Children's Hospital of Denver. Chode.
Wiped my tears and they
So over there at CHOP,
I
Children's
do live by Chode, by the way. So
Yeah, you know.
I do.
What's up.
Yeah.
So Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. This is like full circle moment. Jen Goldberg, the person I had like
Shout out to
talked
Jen again.
to, shout out to Jen. ran a program there called the Adolescent Initiative. Oh my God, am I remembering this correctly right now?
Gosh,
I
your
know.
first experience with AI.
Yes. Oh my gosh, wild. But
Adolescent initiative.
the Adolescent Initiative, which was is a program that works with youth living with HIV,
Oh, wow.
and provides like interdisciplinary services. So there's like nutrition services, there's social work services. They get their health care there. They can get their meds there if they need to. Like it's a wraparound service so that people don't fall out of care.
That's good.
And I
That
loved
is
it.
cool.
Yeah.
My dissertation ended up being on transitioning youth from this type of wraparound service into adult care.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
Because what ends up happening is that a lot of kids fall out of
they
care
transition out
because
and then into nothing.
right, because they are held so well, and then they're moved into adult care where like it's really hard for most people to navigate adult medical care.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're talking about that more right now
Yeah.
Yeah.
of like how challenging it can be with like insurance
Right.
and keeping up with appointments and like navigating all of these things. So what
Mhm.
I ended up doing is after I graduated, I went into nonprofit work and I worked at a place called Action Wellness. Hi, Action Wellness.
Oh my
peeps.
gosh, so many
AW.
shout outs.
And AW.
AI to AW.
Not
Got it.
AMW. So be back
That'd be
in the
root
food.
beer.
And I basically started as a generalist social worker there doing just like case management type work. But then I slid myself into the role of youth
Of
case
course you did.
manager.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
So then I continued to be able to work with like Jen and the CHOP AI team and like some of the other clinics around and like caring for kids who are moving into adult care. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
And then I got pregnant.
Second child.
No, this was Lily.
Third.
So I had started my
Okay.
dissertation process at this point, and when I was I had gone out on maternity leave. I hadn't thought about not coming back, but I was like, go back.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to like
Go
start
into-
doing therapy.
Okay.
Because
Had you thought about that at all before?
I think
I'm just
Gosh,
like, are
I
you
really
seeing
don't
some of the
remember.
kids in the programs or people in the programs that you're working with
That you're the
doing
therapist.
say like, oh, they like therapy would really help, or hearing them say that, or it just was,
So I feel like case management is very therapeutic in and of itself because we're teaching skills, but we're also there to listen and we know all of the hardships that like people are navigating, right? And so we're there to listen and we are there to provide resources, which is a huge part. Hi, Marge. Which is a huge part of social work, right?
Yeah.
That's where like I think social work
close the door.
differs from other mental health professions.
Okay.
Is like there's this huge piece of like I will never be the type of therapist that is not going to connect you to a resource.
Right. Right.
You need a resource. You, need food.
resources.
Let me help you. Let me get
This
you
is
the
one
food.
piece of your
Right.
overall care.
Right.
Yeah.
So after Jade was born, I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. And that's when I started doing telehealth therapy through BetterHelp.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's when BetterHelp was like, I don't know if it was like new or whatever.
And it's interesting how, I would assume almost every therapist these days starts out doing telehealth. They build up a client base.
Yeah.
And I guess
Hey,
because of
Marge.
COVID, that kind of made it unnecessary. But
Yeah.
almost every therapist started out telehealth,
Mhm.
moves into
because you don't have to
Face to
find an
face.
office space. You don't have to.
No, and
Yeah.
like I would have like a mother's helper come in for a few hours and I would like take clients. And it was really, and I was teaching
Yeah.
at the time too. So like,
Oh, my goodness.
and it was in an online program for Widener, not Wiener University. And I still teach for Widener.
not Wiener, still
That's
not
why she's
Wiener.
like, no, it's not Wiener.
Still not Wiener.
My
Yeah.
employer.
He's like the one who pays me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I moved into BetterHelp and then I did that for years. I did that for a few years until we moved to Colorado.
Well,
And then I continued to do it a little bit in Colorado, but then Lily was born right before we moved to Colorado. So she was 2 months old when we moved here. And kudos to the people who can stay home with their children.
I
But
know.
gals, it ain't me. It ain't me.
It ain't me either.
hate me.
It is weird. It's like there are some people who are just made to be, they're so nurturing. They love being at home all day. Just
My
with kids.
sister
Yeah, Bailey is one of those people. Although
loves
she's
it.
still young into it. 18, 15 months, 16 months. It's
I mean,
still
a year and
new.
a
It's
half.
fresh. After a while, you're just like, I need other mental stimulation.
Yeah, other
I
parts of your
need-
identity,
yeah,
right?
I need to
Yeah.
do other work. But yeah, kudos to all the moms out there who are like nurture
But
machine.
you were like,
Yeah.
listen, love you kids, not for me.
Well, and I also think I was navigating some like postpartum anxiety myself. And I
Yeah.
think that I just like needed to, again, like foster other parts of my identity. So I just on a whim applied to a group practice here and
Oh.
they reached out and I got hired, which is great. And then COVID happened and I started and then 2 weeks later everything shut down. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll work from home again.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And this group practice has like transformed over time and became just something that I wasn't really interested in anymore. And after like a lot of dialogue, a lot of support from my husband and my family, I was like, I think I just want to like do it.
On my own.
I just
Yeah.
want to
And
do
you
it on
started
my
coming
own.
in here.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
because you came in here just like one day at a, like, wasn't it daily?
Well, because I was too nervous to fully, my goal was to slowly transition out of that group practice.
Right.
And so my goal, I think, was I started here, I think, in like October or something. And I was only coming in on Fridays. And I was using that I was using that
The
little
rabbit hole.
office,
Tiny
the rabbit
office.
hole.
Yeah.
There.
The rabbit hole right across from us.
Right. Because you hadn't moved.
We hadn't opened the
you
other side
hadn't
yet.
moved over yet. So I was using that space just by the day.
Yeah.
And then my goal was to be full and to like fully leave by the November of whatever year that was. I think it was like 2023.
Yeah.
So
2023, I wanted to like fully leave, but
no, that was just a year ago.
Oh wait, no.
2022.
Yeah. No, it was 2023.
So it was just a year ago.
No, because last
I wanted to be full by 2023.
Oh, you wanted to be full by 2023.
Oh,
But
but
this was
So it's 2022.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah. Because you were just
So-
coming in one day a week. And then all of a sudden we're like, she's here 2 days a week. She's here 3 days a week.
Well, that's what happened, right? And I was like, okay, I'm full. Like
Yeah.
I'm full. I'm gonna leave. And this was April. So I was like way ahead of my time. My time frame there. And I don't know, it was just been awesome.
Now,
It's been great.
Who is the ideal? What are the like majority of your clients? Describe who they are.
Yeah, I feel like that continues to transform over time. But so a lot of my clients, I would say the majority of them are moms or couples who are navigating like sexuality stuff, right? So if we're navigating any type of like postpartum depression or anxiety.
Did I see on your thing? Do you
Sex.
do perimenopause, menopause? No.
I mean, yeah, anything throughout the life cycle for women's
women,
issues, I'm
okay.
here for that,
Okay.
right? I'm here to support. I'm here to
But
provide
you
therapy.
also, it's like you're a sex therapist is another title that you use.
Yeah, I'm
or
not
so much
certified.
anymore. Oh yeah, that's right.
I like to say I'm like a therapist who specializes in sexuality.
Yeah.
Right. Any LGBTQ plus folks, at like expansive sexuality, expansive gender. I'm all about like supporting folks in their journey with that.
Yeah.
There was another, I'm working on my certification on EMDR. So,
Well,
I'm
Third therapist that we hit 3 therapists now that do EMDR. Is that
yeah,
right?
is that like a new? It's the new.
It's
it's not new.
I mean, it's not new, but like all of a
I feel
sudden,
like
everyone's-
everybody's getting certified in
like,
that. So it's are they
yeah.
finding it's just so
Are you seeing a
effective?
surge, or is it?
It's
like,
really, really effective. And it's also just like a really beautiful framework for people navigating any type of trauma. Right. So a lot of my clients have experienced a type of trauma, whether it be like trauma in coming out to families, trauma navigating birth, trauma,
yeah.
like sexual trauma throughout their life. Right. Like there's so many different things. EMDR is so helpful.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a tip if people are going to therapy but not using EMDR, ask about it.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Ask about it.
'Cause
And
it
I would
seems
say
like a lot of people are really saying how effective that is.
yeah. And I know that you interviewed Hannah. So Hannah and I have like coordinated. So if you have a therapist you love and you don't want to leave them, but they don't do EMDR, there are EMDR therapists who will still see you while you see your other
Oh,
therapist.
interesting. That's not
Oh,
cheating
man.
on your therapist.
2 therapists. That's a flex. That is a flex.
That's one that Taylor wishes to
That's
have.
my next move.
Oh, she
Because like,
I'm like,
with
you have a
Hannah-
therapist? That's cool. I have 2.
she wants to be both therapists' favorite.
Favorite.
though. So
Yeah.
keep in
And
mind.
that's the thing. There's also like as humans, we're multidimensional, right? And so we want to be working on career goals or this anxiety while also navigating this trauma, right? And so it's like a client might be working with Hannah on career counseling or I don't know, some basic anxiety, and I'll be working on the trauma that they've been navigating. So that we're working on different things and therefore it can be really helpful.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is true. Cause I feel like you get on a path with your therapist where you're like, okay, I really want to work on this like trigger that I have. But then you're like, I also want to work on this like that past trauma, but it feels like such a one or like such a diversion.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, I guess we can do that after we are kind of feeling settled here, but to be able to do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they totally relate.
Yeah. And I don't know that every therapist operates that way. So I don't want to like put that out there, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Right.
Yeah. And you and Hannah are neighbors here at the village.
Yeah. We share a wall.
Yeah. You share a wall.
So did you cut a hole in the wall and they just walk through when they're done?
Yeah. That's
You
exactly
just put
what
the
happened.
little device through
We
the
actually
wall.
just sprinkle some glitter stardust on them and they
Yes.
just float through the wall.
Float through the wall.
Like,
oh my gosh, yes, that's how you do it.
Okay, so I know most people who are listening aren't going to write in questions. We did talk about that. Going, not a lot of
She's
people
like,
are
"Not a lot of
asking
people
questions.
comment
but
on these ones. I'm like, well, because what do you
what do
comment?
you
Like,
comment? But if
I'm
you do have a question,
traumatized too. Like, well,
sorry.
no, but if you do have
I
a
thought it was Wiener
question,
too. They would write.
yeah. If you thought it was Wiener, let us know.
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
so funny.
If you also have 7th grade humor brain, then let us know.
Oh man, it's really hard when someone says doo doo, and they're like, well, I do those things. I'm like,
I had a client say that once, and I was just like, I laughed so hard. I was like, that is embarrassing. Sorry about it.
You didn't catch on to that too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
you
do
meant
do
it.
that.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Let's
Sorry.
yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
What are some typical questions? Or I'm trying to think of like how we can apply this. Like, are there things that people can do because you focus on improving relationships?
Yeah, I would say that. I will say I see about my max amount of couples that I can see at a time is about 4.
Oh, that's higher than I
interesting.
thought you were going to say.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Why
That's a
is
lot.
that? Just
Because it's a lot.
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I can't imagine.
It's navigating a whole other type of like dynamic.
It's like you're
right?
therapizing 3 people at the same time because it's each person and then their individual relationship.
Yes, thank you for saying that, right?
Yes.
Because the way that we like to think about it is like we all have central nervous systems, right? And our relationship has a central nervous system
Oh, that's
too.
interesting.
And then I also have to navigate my own central nervous system in the
Right.
room, right? So that's why it's really for caretaking myself,
Right.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Yeah.
But
So.
ultimately, like the therapist specializing in sex therapy, but also the couples and also just the like postpartum, it all has like some central tie to it where you're like, you're navigating like being this healthy version of yourself amongst like sexual confusion or frustration or tension.
Well, the way that I view sexuality in general is holistic, right? Like it impacts the things that are happening in our lives impact our sexuality, and our sexuality impacts the things that are happening in our lives, right?
Yeah.
So like if I'm postpartum, I feel really tired and overtouched. My vag was just ripped open.
Yeah.
Like
A human just came out like
right, like,
alien.
what is that going to be like? It could
Yeah.
be really terrifying for people. Was there medical trauma involved in that birthing experience, right?
That is
Also,
weird how you don't think about birth being a trauma.
Oh my gosh.
It is.
I mean, most
though.
people don't think of that.
It
but
is
it is
because
so
all of a sudden
traumatic.
your body becomes you're not in a
It's
good
in
way.
demand.
It's thought of during the birthing process as like such a vessel. It's no longer like you're a human
Yeah.
in a good way. Like you're supposed to be like, we're really just focused on getting your body and the baby to like get through this
Safely.
Yeah.
But it's like, I didn't have a crazy traumatic birth. It was long, but it wasn't traumatic. But then I had a friend who gave birth back in May, and it was like she lost a ton of
Right.
blood. She
Yeah.
was hemorrhaging. She was in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
People didn't know if she was going to make it. Like, is the baby okay? So you're like, yeah. And then she was even like, I haven't even really fully processed what happened because I don't remember a lot of it.
Right.
And
That's
now it's
true.
like coming
Yeah.
back to me in chunks, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so major. So
Yeah.
it's
EMDR.
processing that. And also the
EMDR.
trauma, but
Wow.
I even feel like after postpartum or in postpartum, you're like, my body now feels different.
Right.
People view me differently. I'm asked questions about my body that where before people aren't really talking about it. Like it's like now this tool to keep my baby alive, and
Yeah.
it's like
That's true.
so it's just like such an interesting dynamic mentally to shift from.
Well, that's the thing. You're like, I don't even want to say you're like relearning yourself, but you're adapting to this newer version
version.
of
Yeah.
yourself, right?
It's probably a good analogy of a butterfly. Like you've come out
Yes.
of this one form and you're a totally different form,
Yeah.
and you have to
Same like
acquaint you.
mind, same
Yeah.
experience, but now all of a sudden you've got different things that happen to your body.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you will pee when you sneeze.
Not always.
Not always.
This is also when a pelvic floor therapist would be a good.
I
Oh,
cannot jump on a
referral.
trampoline.
Wait,
you
have
should
you
go
ever done
see-
pelvic floor?
You should.
I mean, Lava Island. I'm just looking around like most of these kids. Most of these kids are peeing themselves because they're too excited to go to the bathroom, and most of the
Dave's like-
moms are peeing
Yeah,
themselves
because
because they've had
They've
children.
had children
So
and
it's
no
just
longer can hold it.
so
Pee
funny.
central
Oh,
in the pants.
you know what?
I
Here's
feel
my
like-
tip. Stay away from places like Lava
Stay away
Island.
to Lava
Lava
Island
Island.
if you are afraid of urine.
That's
You have to have a strong
horrific.
urine.
like, I will never go to one of those places. Thankfully, I don't
never
have
thought
to
I
go
would, but
again.
I did send you once
you
to pick
did
her
to
up
pick
from
her
her
up.
birthday
I
party.
picked up Ophelia, but I did not even want to go close to
No.
any. I'm
But
like,
you're also such a germaphobe. It's
I-
off brand for you
which I was never a germaphobe
until you had children.
until all my children were grown.
No, because you would like travel while we were young, and you were like, "Don't touch the
Well,
remote.
that's true.
I
Don't-
immediately take the covers off the hotel bed." Like,
Yes.
Oh, you
do
travel
not
with
touch
Lysol, don't you?
anything.
Oh, I don't, but I do.
she doesn't use public bathrooms.
No, I won't
like,
use public bathrooms. And when you guys were little, it was so traumatizing for me
Yeah.
to try to hold you over a toilet because I'm
Yep.
like, don't touch that.
I-
Don't touch that.
I have
Yeah.
a phobia of
Yeah.
bathrooms.
So I hope I pass that on.
You
because
absolutely
it's
did.
a healthy.
Ophelia would be like, "I have to go to the porta potty."
I
I'm
don't
like,
know
"You
how
would
happy
pee
that
your
is.
pants."
Anyone listening?
Don't
Dear-
touch 'em. The other day, where was Dad and I were?
At the Nuggets game.
Nope.
You
We were in
were
Vegas
in
somewhere.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of things in Vegas.
There were, yeah, well,
shouldn't
no,
tell.
but it was just like
True.
we were
That's
somewhere.
true.
Oh, we were at the Sphere.
You're
Uh-huh.
saying
Um,
Lava Island?
we went-
Please. This is Lava Island on steroids.
We went
Drunk
to
adults.
we
peeing
went to go
themselves.
see the Eagles. went to go see the Eagles at
Oh,
the
how
Sphere.
was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah, that looked that looked
amazing.
awesome.
It was so cool. But
Did
you're
you
in there.
post about it?
I posted on
Did you see
stories.
it?
But here's what I
I don't
forgot.
see
I look
these
at
things.
everybody's
Here's what I
stories.
forgot. Well, I posted it with some sound. But as soon as the Eagles are playing, that's a copyright infringement. So
That's
Oh.
true.
They muted out the sound. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I apologize. They sounded amazing. However, Brett, it's a new facility. Like the Sphere is pretty new. And so we were getting ready to walk back to our hotel. We were just staying across the street at the Wynn, but it takes like 20 minutes to walk
Yeah.
from the Sphere over there. And Dad's like, of course, like 5 times I have to go to the
Have to pee.
bathroom.
Yeah.
He has to pee.
It's
I'm
bladder
like-
anxiety.
And I
That's a
kind of
different
had
therapy.
to go. I kind of had to go when we got there. But I'm like, oh no, I can
Oh,
hold
we
it.
will hold it for
For hours.
Because
Hours.
Like, ew, girls,
I know
I'll
that's
wait till
not
I'm
good
in
for
my
me.
own.
You
Thank
can-
you very much.
You can write in and say that is really bad for you, but I will not go in a public restroom. And he kept saying it's a new facility. They're
Yeah.
going to be nice. And he said they're nice. And I'm like, no, I'll
No.
hold it. I held it until after the 2-hour concert and the 20-minute walk back to go in the nice bathrooms in the
At the
hotel.
hotel that we know are
Yeah,
cleaned
yeah,
and only
they're
used
clean.
This
by
just
us.
You know what?
sounds like UTIs in the making.
But we don't. I don't get them.
I don't get
We
them
don't
either.
get them.
Never.
I don't
I
get 'em.
know.
I know
You know what?
everyone's amazed.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
See, I make it. My clients are probably so irritated by me because I pee in between every single session.
No, you do always have to pee. You came in
Yeah,
here. You're
you
like,
go-
we're like,
I-
you're on. You're like, I have
I
to
have
pee
to pee.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I also have pee anxiety. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
Oh,
want to have to
interesting.
think about going to the
I know a
bathroom while
good
I'm in here.
therapist who could probably do EMDR to
Yeah,
help you.
Or Brian, the hypnotherapist.
I'll just do my own.
phobias.
Yeah, I could just do my own
Yeah.
eye movements.
Yeah.
Your own eye movements. Can you do it that way?
That's how Francine Shapiro founded it. She was just walking down the street,
Wow.
feeling anxious, started
And
moving her
started
eyes.
moving her eyes and
People
thinking
are
of-
like, she's having a seizure. Call 911.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. So, okay, are there any tips you can give people? Number one, if they were in a position, they're like, I really need to go find a
Oh,
good relationship
Yes.
or sex
And
therapist.
then we haven't really asked about like the technique like we have with the other therapists, and I
True.
want to know.
Okay.
So, do you have a tip? If you don't, that's kind of a hot seat
I
question.
know it's a hot one. It's a
Okay, I think I can handle it.
yeah.
You can. You and Niles could tell us that. that you can
Nile.
do anything.
Nile.
Nile.
Yeah.
Like
Nile
he's down
could,
the
like,
Nile.
12
Yeah.
to 3 Chili's supervisor. She can do anything.
Do you ever wonder where's Nile
Where's
today?
Nile?
Yeah, I don't know. I worry about him. But then it's like, I don't know. That was so long ago.
I know, it is
now.
funny. I
It's like
think of-
really scary to think about how long ago that was now.
I know.
Welcome to
I
her
always think
life.
of. Yeah, remember how old
She's
I
like,
am.
I worked at Chili's too.
But it was the
40
year, it was the year they were founded. I don't know what year that was, but
Ophelia does
Chili's
always
was
say
brand
stuff
new.
like they had phones when Gigi was little.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, they look very different, but she's not that old, my love.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so old. Can you imagine, like, to kids? Because they think 40 is so old.
Well, I said
Yeah.
They're like,
telephone the
I
other
am
day, and she goes, "It's not a telephone. Those are when people had cords."
She said that?
Yeah, and I was like, "No, it's a phone. That's a short version for
My
telephone."
kids have
That's
asked me
so
if I was
funny.
alive when TVs were invented. And I'm like,
You're like,
how
guess
old?
what? So were your grandparents.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, how old do you think I am?
Kids. Yeah.
Okay, but I
Oh,
would,
but
if
yeah,
you have a
but-
tip, tell us a tip. But also then be thinking about, because we've been asking like your style of, like, some therapists are like, we don't talk about the past
Right.
ever. We're not like, how, tell me about when you were young, tell me about your family, tell me about these things. And there were like, I love that though. I
She
love
wants
that.
to go all the way back to birth. You know what?
Yeah.
It wasn't a traumatic birth with
No,
you either.
I'm like, I came out of the womb
Yeah.
and I'm doing EMDR as I'm talking about my birth out of.
Yeah.
But you're tuning into something there that's really important is, first of all, I am a psychodynamic therapist in nature. I
Ooh.
want to know everything.
Yes.
Tell me everything. But EMDR works in a memory network.
Okay.
It works with our adaptive memories. And therefore, we have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me, I have such a fascination with memories, because you talk to people and they'll tell you something and you were there, but they'll retell something and it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we retell a memory, it's like, I think it was this person that was there, or I think we were at this place. And every time it's slightly different until we start building a new memory. And I'm assuming that's EMDR is helping you rebuild a new, better memory.
No, it's not necessarily. So the way that we like to describe it is it's taking the yuck out of it. Right. So I'm not going to do EMDR on you on a memory where you were like,
Well,
me
it
and
was
Jane
good.
Doe were hanging out, drinking
Right.
wine. Right.
You're like, no, keep that one in.
right.
What's the other one? Yeah.
So
That's
if we're
true.
talking about like a traumatic memory from 10 years ago and someone has a different recollection of that memory, that's fine. Right. Because we're not working on that person's memory network.
Right.
We're working on your perception of what happened.
And the feelings that come up when
Right.
That-
Like
when you
what's
think of that.
happening in your body when you think about that.
because the whole point is connecting the two sides, of, like the
Mhm.
not logical side of the brain, but essentially it's like the emotions part with the logic part. If I'm wrong or if I'm right,
Well, we're
Like, it's-
connecting
you're
both sides
connecting
of the
both
brain.
sides so that you can, like, reality of what happened to then like disconnect the feelings from that, or what's the
We're not disconnecting feelings, but again, we're regulating the feelings.
Okay.
So a lot of EMDR is also about learning how to regulate, learning how to like work on that mind body connection so that if like I'm feeling a lot of anxiety in my chest, I'm going to be able to navigate that a lot better at the end of EMDR, right? Like because our bodies hold on to so many different things. So EMDR really doesn't like change a memory, but it takes the yuck out of the memory and it
memory.
takes like the
Your response, maybe a negative
like
response to
your
it.
sensitivity
Right.
to it out of the
you're
memory.
able
So-
to see it without those emotions like taking over your body.
exactly. And it takes it from what we like to say is like you take it from a maladaptive state where you're super dysregulated and you move it to an adaptive state where you're like, yeah, that happened. I can talk about it. I think there's a misconception too about EMDR that we're like taking your memories away. Like this is an eternal
It's
sunshine
like
of the
Harry
spotless
Potter where
mind.
they
Yeah.
or where they put the wand to your head and they take out
Yeah, we're not doing that. You will
remember
continue to
that.
have your memories. You will just
I took it out.
feel less dysregulated by it and you
Cool.
can function better
Yeah.
and like re-engage with life in a different way.
That's cool.
Sounds like a commercial for like a drug.
It
Like,
does.
re-engage with your life in a different way.
Gling.
Like
Side
sciatica,
What?
Cybulta. That's the name of it.
There's so many.
Sciatica is a
It's a nerve.
Yeah. I was like, what? Where's she going?
But
with that?
Cybulta helps you with your sciatic pain so that you can re-engage with
With your
life.
life.
in a
This is
different
true.
way.
You know that, right?
What?
That's true.
What?
Cymbalta works
That's a
for
real drug?
sciatica.
Cymbalta.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's
you've
just
heard it
ingrained
somewhere.
in my brain. Yeah, because I've heard
Which
it
is
somewhere.
funny because you don't have a TV.
No, I don't.
So where do you even
That's
hear
very impressive.
commercials? You don't know.
Other people's houses.
Okay. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Every time you see a commercial like that, you're probably like, this is exactly why I don't have a TV.
Yeah, this is why. I don't have
Literally,
TV.
I always say, wow, we can tell the demographic that this show is targeting.
Yeah, because
Because
it's like, do you have liver spots?
drug is being advertised. Every commercial
Oh,
is
that's
just drugs.
so
that we
funny.
need.
With the
and
stars.
what I always say, because they always say, talk to your doctor about whatever, Cymbalta. So I said, I want to write down all of them and then make a doctor appointment to just say, I want to talk
I
to
just
you
want to
about
talk
these
to you about
things.
Cymbalta.
And
I don't need it.
and
but
every other drug. Like there's 50 that I'm supposed to talk to my doctor about. I don't know why, but they just tell me I'm supposed to talk to you about it. But
I feel like that would
Lola,
be that would be
such a funny-
so
Yeah.
irritating to
oh,
that
I just think
provider.
It's so great. Yeah, I
they're
just
like,
want to talk to you about
listen,
these
our
things.
office is paid by these 4 drugs, so those are the ones I'm going to
Yeah.
give you.
But anyway, are there any general relationship tips that we could give our audience that could help them have better conversations with their spouse, with their partners?
Yeah.
Like, are there ways to start tough conversations or
Do you sing? Do you dance during your conversations? You made us
Oh,
sing.
well, I did make you guys sing when you would fight.
Yeah.
And I would say, you guys can fight all you want as long as you do it in song. And that usually
My
made
favorite
them
parenting tip.
Yeah.
Your kids should start doing that.
Yeah.
Because they're at the age where they can they're starting to really be like, you're so dumb. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can't believe you
I
did that."
know. What does Lily say? You're not my brother anymore.
Oh,
my
that is a
God.
burn.
Oh, burn.
Get it, Lily.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I used to
You
make them
say
sing.
you
And then when
can-
they got older, I would give them a genre. So you have to sing your arguments
Opera.
in opera.
you can make,
'Cause
say
that's
whatever you
so
want.
good.
You can
I
say
do
whatever you want.
like this. I think
Yeah.
this
You just
is a
have
very
to
good
sing
You're
idea.
an idiot.
Yeah.
Like
And then
whatever it was.
one line in, we're like, you're so
Yeah.
stupid. And then you're like,
And then there's like, they're
you just
laughing.
walk away, you're like, "I'm done with you."
That's actually a really good idea.
Good,
That
that's
was
my
actually
hot parenting
really
tip.
good opera, by the way. No
That
one-
was
that was-
really good. Actually,
Yeah, okay, wait a minute. Let's stop.
Nobody
Should we bring up the whole thing since we are talking about sexuality?
of you kissing someone. Where did this come
I have no idea what's
She
happening.
just said, did anybody just notice? Taylor the other day,
Well,
she may be
She's
coming to
asking
you,
you for relationship advice, and then she's like, "But hold on,
but hold on, let me get, Taylor may need therapy over this because she was sitting across. We were
I'm right
sitting,
here." It was like right.
we
here.
were like this. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, Taylor was here.
You know,
I
there's
was
a
here.
table in between.
And Andrea
I'm
was
working.
over here. We were all sitting in the lobby.
Someone comes in
of
to
the
say hi
village.
to her,
They
and-
came and to bend over to give me, the hug that you give.
but then
you-
she was
went to
going for a
kiss my
cheek kiss.
cheek, and
Oh,
I kind of was trying to get
no.
out of the way, so I turned this way. But our lips
You
went.
both, but
we
she
kissed.
had a grip on your. Here's how I describe it. She came
No,
in.
she did not have
she
a
had
grip
the
on
back
my
of your
head.
Yes, she had the back of your head.
This is a romantic kiss.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it
She had
was
the
not.
back of your head.
Trust me,
She
it
was
was
going for
not.
like a lips to cheek, not like a side.
True.
like,
It was kind of
and
like
you
a,
thought she was going for
just
like a side,
like an
so
air.
then you kind of turned to do this
Yeah.
side, and she was like, "No, I'm going for like I need you to be perpendicular to me so that I can kiss your cheek." And you were like, "Oh," and you kind of did. You kind of did like a stutter step with your face, and then she
Oh.
just kind of was like, "We're going for it." Pulled you in. And it was just straight lip to lip,
So
and
then it
then
was lip to lip.
not only did you lip to lip for a second, like 1.5
Split
seconds,
second.
it was you then came out of the kiss going, "Mwah!" I was over here,
It's like,
and I'm
if
looking
we're
at
doing
the other
this,
two
we're
people
gonna make
around,
it.
and I'm like, and then no one's reacting. So then I'm like, okay,
Taylor,
keep working.
then we just
and
we
then
kept
it's like,
talking.
So how are
And
you?
Taylor goes,
Good to see you.
Did nobody
But then
else see?
you and her talk for a
Oh.
while, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't say anything. And then she leaves, and you're like, anyways. So Rachel, I was like, no,
No, just no.
you just kissed the woman
that
on the
lady
lip.
right there, right here in the lobby.
And you were not. We need to talk about this. And then I immediately texted
And
my
then-
sister, "Mom, just kissed someone on the lips in the lobby." And my sister's like, "Oh."
It's even worse. There's another guy we didn't even know he was
Yeah,
in the
he's waiting for his
lobby somewhere
massage
waiting for a
therapist.
massage therapist, and he overhears all this. We're dying. We're just like
This is
bawling
really
laughing.
I wish I was a fly
Yeah.
on the wall
Oh,
for this whole
yeah.
situation.
It was really good.
Especially just to see you being like,
Because then I'm eating lunch, so then I just kept my spoon in my mouth because I was like, because I'm like, I want to die laughing, but they're not saying anything.
No, we just had to move
They didn't
on.
even
We just
brush
had
it
to
off
move
like,
on.
oh, oops, one
No.
like nothing. They just as if it never happened. So
We were
then I'm
just-
like, you
we were
can't ignore this.
we were in France for a moment, just a little
Mwah.
yeah.
and moved on.
Wow.
We moved on,
It
but
was-
she was the whole day like
I was dying.
dying.
Then the
I'm
guy
bringing
came
it
in Friday for a tour. We didn't know he was there Wednesday.
I wasn't even here.
She was here. She also like kissed a woman, sent a guy an accidental like emoji, and then went to Vegas. So I was like, what kind of energy did she just bring last
A
week?
lot of sexual
Wow,
energy there,
the
Gina.
day of the like kissing emoji and the kiss on the lips. You're wearing this huge fuzzy green jacket with knee-high tight boots, and I was like, who is this woman right now?
You're like,
it's
this is
giving-
not my
it's
mom.
Main
giving
character
me Pretty
energy.
Woman
Yes.
vibes, but like right middle transition. She just went shopping with Richard Gere, and she's like, "Mwah," like, and everyone's like, what just happened?
And then a guy comes in on Friday
On
and says
Friday,
something about,
and
well,
we're
I heard
touring,
your
and after
mom
like
kissed
20
a
minutes,
girl.
he goes, "Yeah, well,
Oh.
I was here on Wednesday when your mom was kissing someone in the lobby," and I was like,
Rumor runs
yeah.
fast around
It runs
me.
"He does sell," because he was like,
Diesels.
"I was here.
Sign me up.
Your mom kissed a woman, and I'm back now.
I want an office.
And I want an office.
Yeah. So we love
Preferably
that for
right
him.
next to your mom.
We love that for him. Yeah, make sure she's front row view. I'm like, well, Tom. So yeah.
So funny.
Okay, but you have a few minutes until you have another client.
Yeah, I actually
because
don't.
she's-
She canceled. So I have a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit of
So
extra
for the,
time.
buckle up for the next hour.
Throw your
Um,
questions in. We've got time.
Yeah, if anyone has
Oh,
questions.
gosh.
I
Yeah.
know. Okay, what is your tip?
Okay,
You
so
have
I think I
Great tips.
first of all, the biggest tip is that you do have to communicate.
Amen.
Oh,
Your
there's that.
partner cannot read your mind. Your partner or partners cannot read your mind.
Also, don't assume. Like, oh, I think they would react this way, so I'm not going to say this thing to them because they might be sad if I
Right.
tell them that I don't like that they do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope,
They probably
that's
won't be
off.
sad.
Don't assume. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
Amen.
We've heard that before.
She just
Yeah,
made that
someone?
up.
She just
right
made
now.
it.
I just made
Think
that up.
was
It's mine.
attributed to
I'm
Dr.
gonna-
Tessa.
I'm gonna copyright that.
Dr. Tessa Fox
TM.
Skolakowski. TM.
And so that being said, people can find it really hard to communicate, especially if they're heated. So the
True.
whole idea of like, don't go to bed angry, don't love that. And I'll tell you why.
True.
Because sometimes we need processing time.
We need time out,
Mhm,
but a
mhm,
ti-
mhm.
but a time limited time out.
You
Like,
have
we
to
will
time
talk
back
about
in.
this
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you have to communicate that you're timing out. You can't just storm off, slam a door, and call it a night,
But it
right?
is good to say, I'm really heated right now. Can I have 45 minutes just to cool down?
Yeah,
Get something to drink. Maybe I'm hangry.
right. Like,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
regulate. Let me figure
I
out
don't
what
know who
I'm
you could
even
be talking
feeling.
about in that moment.
We have
Are
a lot of
you
Snicker.
hangry?
We have
Are
a
you
lot of
hangry?
Snicker bars just kept in the back room.
Last week. This was a great communication moment for us because usually I feel really guilty as the helper that you're stressed. And so then I'm like, well, how can I help? What can I do? And I just start doing stuff. And then you're like, but really you're just
Here's a Snickers.
you're just hangry and you're just like something triggered you and you're overwhelmed. And then like nice this morning, we're having a great day with our team. And then afterwards she comes out of nowhere, just raging. Like there's steam coming out of her ears. And I'm like, what just happened? And she's like, this ornament is out of place. And this nutcracker. And I was like, why is there a nutcracker here? I just turned to her at one point and I was like, do you need a Snickers bar? Like those commercials where they're like super cranky and then they
That
eat a
was
Snickers
good.
bar and they're back to
They're
themselves.
back
and they're
to,
like,
yeah, you're back
I'm
to
sorry, I
yourself.
think I was just hungry. I was like, do you need a Snickers bar?
Did it work?
It did.
It did. Then we snickered.
We laughed. We
laughed.
snickered at that. And then I
And
was
then-
like, I probably
Yeah.
do.
But I like that tip because I
Yeah.
do think you're taught growing up, like, do not go to bed angry, resolve it. But then the whole point is, well, if I'm not ready, I'm going to probably say things I don't mean.
100%.
Because we're just trying to resolve this for the sake of resolving it now.
And I always think don't have the hard conversations in your bedroom. Like go to
No,
a neutral place
that's
where
a
you're
great
just
point.
Chili's.
go to Chili's.
Go to Chili's.
Ask for extra sprinkles.
Did you ever see
Yeah.
people fighting at Chili's? In the
Oh, I'm
booth?
sure. I don't
I'm sure
remember
I did.
now, but
I
I'm
did
sure
see
I
somebody
did.
once throw a drink at somebody else.
I've always wanted to see that.
Ooh.
Not do that. Seems a
Yeah,
little.
yeah.
I'm not against it, but
But
I feel like I've seen a lot of things, but I don't know that I've seen that.
yeah, well, I'm a lot older than you. I've seen a lot more.
back in her day,
Back in my
Chili's,
day,
people
Chili's.
were always
People were just throwing drinks in each other's faces.
yeah,
Yeah.
and talking like
And taking
this.
their gloves off and slapping their gloves face. Which, by the way, I'm gonna wear gloves on Friday.
I know you are.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's a
I'm
good
bringing
idea.
glam energy because the
Yeah.
theme is glitz and glam.
Yeah.
Which
I
last
have a
year
fo-
it was.
we-
too.
I'm
you texted
prepared.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she texted me a dress. Did you get it?
No, I didn't get that dress. I got something else.
But you saw mine.
Yeah,
It's, it's
It
a
is
literal
a-
disco.
She
ball.
is a disco ball.
I know. And you,
Walking.
I stepped it up for you.
I caught on to that immediately.
Yeah.
Taylor loves disco
I
balls.
Yeah.
love disco balls. I love disco music. I love disco balls. I have 4 in my
Loves.
house. 5 if you count pictures.
But because I saw your disco ball dress, I was like, I need something not similar,
Yeah.
but I wanted
Same
to wear
level.
something long too.
Yeah. It was a fun, like, it's like, mine's like,
Oh, you know what? Mine's
mock
long as
turtleneck,
well.
long
Yeah.
sleeves, long gown, and just like, bam, disco ball.
Yeah.
Mine's black and long, slit on the side.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's bringing the sexual energy
Yeah, with
every day
gloves.
here at the
And you
village.
might get a little crazy and have a tense moment with your significant other. And that night is not going to be the night to resolve it.
No.
No,
No.
in the car on the way home, you're like, I
Nope.
did not like that. You said that in front of them. We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
Done.
Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.
Right. That's a
10
yes.
a.m.
You do kind of want to put a time frame on it so that you can come back to it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
there are people
It's-
who just say, I don't want to talk about it.
right.
that's
And we're
not
not gonna
fair.
we're
Can't
not
do
brushing
that.
it under the
That's
rug.
not fair. Yeah.
And then I know I'm giving more than one tip, but I think it's really
How dare you.
important when you are communicating to use
She was trying to give a serious tip. Quit
know.
throwing stuff in her face.
Okay. When you
we will not be talking about this until tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Oh, gosh.
okay, when
Oh.
When you are trying to communicate, use I statements.
oh,
Right.
true.
So like I feel angry when this happens, or
I
instead
feel
of
hurt when you
you
say
do this, right? Because
Yeah.
even if you're not
You
actually
always-
pointing,
yeah.
right? If you're not pointing a finger, using words like you always or you did this, it's like physically really like you're being so argumentative
Yeah.
and your walls are so high up, your partner's walls are gonna go right up.
Well, and yeah, and if you're in that state, of course, they're not going to want to come towards that because they're like, this isn't going to be productive. You're yelling at me saying that I always ignore you or I always do that. And you're like, you're not logical. I'm not going to come to you in this
Right.
moment. And then you're like, why aren't you even fighting with me? You're not even trying. And they're like, why would I try?
Right. You want it to be productive, like you
Yeah.
said. And
Yeah.
when you're so dysregulated, like you can't even like say how you're actually feeling like in your brain and in your body, then you got to come back to it. Just come back to it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just name it.
Mhm.
Right. Just name it.
and using
so,
the I statements is
Yeah.
always great in any scenario when you're having conversations. When this happened, here's how I felt.
because
Yeah.
there's also a level of accountability, I think, that especially like in couples or partnerships where you're like, I just want you to say that you understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so by like saying your piece and having your partner like echo that, there's like accountability and responsibility and like shared ownership of the things that are going on.
Love that.
Wow. I
So
love
find
that.
a neutral zone, put a time limit, use I statements,
Eat snacks if you need to.
eat snacks or
Yeah.
feed. Just have some Snickers handy.
Yeah. and
There's
you-
my tip.
Yep.
Snickers handy.
Yep. With your name on it.
And just, they do have them that say, instead of Snickers across them, they say hangry and they say,
Real, oh, they have
yeah,
special words.
they have
yeah.
special words
I've
on
seen
them.
those before.
Which maybe you just stock up.
Yeah.
Stock up if you're having
Yeah,
a little
maybe
conflict.
we do.
Hey, I'm all about it. Bring on the Snickers.
I know. It's like you're like, I
Like,
literally have
I'm gonna
loose
have to
Skittles
come-
in my pockets.
I'm gonna have to come in angry more often. Let them feed me Snickers.
every time.
Snickers are really good.
I
They
know.
really are.
I have to
So
say, every
good.
time Ophelia eats vegetables, which like last night we had this like just a veggie bowl, and she goes, "I eat way healthier than Gigi. Don't die." I don't know like where this latched onto.
I know where she got it from.
I'm like, oh, this is way healthier than Gigi. But like I talked about how you like
I literally am like,
have like loose
what are you
candy
eating?
in
Beets
pockets
and
and,
quinoa?
like,
Give me
you
some
usually
Give
bring
me a
like
Skittles.
chocolate and caramels
Yeah.
for lunch. And I just like said that one day because I'm like, Gigi never gets sick and she just eats candy all the time. And so but then she was like, okay, good to know.
Oh, good to know.
And now
Candy
she'll be like,
equals
I'm eating
healthy.
way healthier than Gigi, aren't I? And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, but
And
you'll
next
probably
time
still get sick.
Next time she's sick, I'm gonna go. Who's sick?
Who is eating
Who's healthy?
veggies now?
Yeah.
Should have had some Skittles.
Yeah, you should have quit eating those beets, girl.
She did have a golden beet
I
for
know.
breakfast.
Yeah.
For breakfast?
She had some pieces of it because I had roasted them last night, and I was like, oh, I have way too many for lunch. You want to try one?
You do eat a lot of beets.
She
love
does.
beets.
Yeah,
She
you do eat a
eats
lot of
I have
beets.
both
She eats
golden
healthy.
and red in my lunch today.
Crazy, wild.
I want to like beets and I just can't.
Have
I
you
just
tried golden
don't.
Tastes
beets?
like dirt.
No.
Red beets do have an earthy taste. I'll
Not
say it.
earthy.
I like beet juice.
Yeah,
Really?
but golden beets are literally just a
Potato. They
less
taste more like
mushy
root.
sweet potato.
Less mushy. Yeah.
Like
it's more
like
firm.
a sweeter, firm. I mean, you can make any beet firm because when you get the beets that are like steamed, it's like it's mushy.
Yeah.
But I get like an actual golden beet, and then you just like cube it
Dice it
and roast
up
it.
and-
Wow, it's so sweet. It does not taste like a beet.
Okay.
You wouldn't know.
I'm going to try some
wouldn't know.
golden beets.
I have some in my lunch. Take a bite.
that are roasted.
It's really good.
All right.
Yeah.
I
That's
may or
my
may not
tip.
try it.
There's
For a
Taylor's
healthy
health
relationship.
tip for a healthy relationship.
Your bodies may be healthy, but your
Yeah.
mind, that's where she comes in.
Yes. And you could cook things together too as a joined
Oh,
activity.
That
Yeah.
is a great activity.
And on Christmas, 2 more episodes of Sex Talks with
Dr. Tessa
Is It
and
In?
Taylor.
Sex
Tessa.
Talks with Tessa and Taylor come out.
It's been a while, obviously, because we can't remember
No,
the
I
name of
know.
it.
I think it's called sciatica. Cymbalta.
Cymbalta. Cymbalta. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Simba Alta, Mufasa, new movie coming out. Very excited for it.
You've already seen Moana?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I didn't
Let's
see
go.
that one
I'll
yet
go
either.
again.
Have you seen Wicked though?
Yes. Have
we
you?
went.
So good.
Yeah, Wicked,
Oh,
amazing.
Wow.
My takeaway from Wicked was Ariana Grande is a dang good actress.
she's a great actress.
I
and
think that everyone
hilarious.
has been really surprised.
I
by
don't know
that.
why. I just found her
I'm
a
not-
little
I love her.
irritating, but
Really?
One time she licked a donut, not her, Ariana licked a
Ariana
donut at a
licked
donut
a
shop
donut.
and put it back. And my mom's like, what a little punk. And then she's been
I'm like,
anti Ariana.
oh, she's just and
Okay,
she's
my mom
like,
has done the same thing about this donut incident,
Yeah,
though.
well, you don't go licking my donuts.
I mean, that is true.
Mom,
That's
really rallying around the donut community. Those
like,
donut shop owners work hard. And you just licked it.
Well, I did licked it and then put it back. She
But then
put it
off camera,
back.
she probably
that
was
was
like,
like
here's
10 years ago
$500.
now.
Like,
It was probably longer. But you
she's
know what?
allowed to
I
grow
can't
up.
forgive you for that one,
was
Ariana.
she on Disney Channel?
Yes,
Or
I think
yes,
so.
she was the dumb friend.
are you thinking of Selena Gomez? Or are you thinking
No,
of
Ariana
all the
Grande
other
was
Selena Gomez
also
was too, I think.
Disney.
they all
girl.
were like
Disney,
Sabrina
yeah.
Carpenter, Selena Gomez. I didn't know Ariana was. Like
Yeah.
Zendaya, they all
They all were.
were.
Listen, I do love me a Sabrina Carpenter
Get it.
Christmas album.
Oh, I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, see, Sabrina Carpenter. I like Sabrina Claudio.
Who's that?
Oh, Sabrina, look it up.
Okay.
Spotify, Sabrina
She's
Claudio.
like 2 followers, Gina Trek and her dogs.
I think I learned about Sabrina Claudio from Daniel,
Oh, well,
my
then
oldest
classic.
grandson. Yeah,
He goes to the desert for his birthday and he's like, I want to be alone.
Yeah,
without a
for
cell
my
phone for
18th
4 days and
birthday
just
and-
really-
Yeah,
Zen.
I'm curious to hear
Sabrina
this.
Claudio. Look it up. You're gonna love.
She is okay.
Love.
Now I'm remembering Daniel.
Do
told me.
you like the one that I just I knew I'd forget it, but never mind.
Music, artist, movie.
Yeah, it's another artist, another female artist I really like. Charlotte
Pardon.
Carden.
Yeah,
Sabrina
she's-
Claudio's like a
I'm surprised that
kind
you
of.
like her because 40% of her songs are kind of inappropriate.
well, you don't have to listen to every single song.
But like if you just play her, listen.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
no,
can't
stop.
play it
Ariana
here,
Grande
you're
licks
right.
one donut, and you cancel her.
Well, I cancel
And
and
then
tell
Charlotte
Wicked.
Carden sings
Wicked
songs
redeemed
called like
Ariana.
Daddy, and you're like, it's fine. It's fine. You're fine, girl. Keep going. It's
Just don't lick any donuts.
the
You're very
second
good.
Charlotte
the
licks a
deal breaker.
donut,
Lick a
or a
donut.
croissant because she's French. You're like, you're out.
Lick your
How dare
own
you.
donuts. Lick your own
But
croissants.
we don't know the full story.
Don't.
Okay, she was
That's
young.
true.
She maybe like paid them $500, and it was just like a silly
It probably
publicity
was a
thing.
publicity stunt, but
She
anyway,
is a great singer.
the mothers,
funny.
all the good mothers
cute.
everywhere thought she was a punk
I
for
know.
doing it. But now
There's
Wicked
now
came
like a
out.
donut shop owner union.
Wicked is so good.
Wicked is great.
It's so good. I wasn't. I'm saying this now. I wasn't a musical girl, and now I am. I get it.
I mean, but
Oh,
it,
I've
get it.
always been a musical gal.
but it started
I
out
get
a
it.
lot more musical. I was like, oh, this could get a
If
little
we got
too
rid of the
much
first
singing.
musical number, A+ movie.
Yeah,
But I'm only giving it an A because of that
the first opening
opening
one,
note.
it was a little too much singing. Then they kind
And
of
they're
got
like,
into
no
the
one
movie. It
mourns
was
the
good.
wicked. We're like, this was a heavy musical intro. You lost all fathers at this point.
That's true.
I
'Cause
disagree
Dad came
with
with us, which was
Against his will.
against his will.
Like,
well,
he was like,
no, because I
I'll
wanted
go.
just to be a girls'
Yeah.
day of us going, and he's like, "I'll come with you guys." And I was like, "He's not going to dress. He's not going to dress up in a costume." But
Neither did she.
I know, but I wanted to.
You know, well, her style is just a costume. So, her
So
fashion,
yeah,
That's true. The first time I ever met Gina, she was wearing a Buddy the Elf costume.
yes.
that was the first time you met me.
and it was
Yeah.
like the week before Christmas.
It
week,
was.
so
It was
we were like,
appropriate.
okay, we
came
came
in
in.
with- I came in to get my-
September.
No.
That
No.
is funny.
You're like,
Buddy
she
the Elf.
would, was it?
Buddy the Elf.
What's your favorite
Yeah.
color?
How can I help you?
What's your favorite color? Okay, so loved Wicked, and we saw Gladiator.
I haven't seen
Ooh.
it yet.
It's like
The reason she's saying this is because she hates blood
Yeah.
in movies, any violence. So don't take her word for it. And then my dad didn't like it because he saw Gladiator, the original, is his
Was
favorite movie.
between that and
so
what's the other one he
because it
loves?
didn't follow the storyline. he
Mel
was
Gibson
like,
one.
Die Hard.
No, that's Bruce. Nope, not
Bruce
Bruce.
Willis?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is Bruce Willis.
No, the
Lethal
one.
Weapon.
No, it's
Oh.
another Gladiator
Russell
type.
Crowe.
Was it Russell Crowe? I thought it was
That
Mel
who it was.
Gibson.
Oh, Mel Gibson.
With the
Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Thank
Like
you.
those are his two top movies.
Yeah.
So we go to see Gladiator 2 against my wishes. But I told him if he went to go see Wicked, I would go see Gladiator. And we went.
And he tried to wait for me to come, but I was in Steamboat, and I was like, I don't think this drive is going to take me too long. And he's like,
Yeah.
fine, I'll take your mother.
I'll take Mom.
So I disagree with you about Wicked.
That
you
you
like the opening number.
It follows the play, guys.
Listen, we're not. Listen,
which I thought I saw Wicked in Broadway in New York on Broadway, and then we saw it
in Denver.
in
here.
Denver here.
She's seen it twice.
I've seen it
She
twice.
stayed awake the whole time.
Yep, loved it. Loved the play.
Then we're watching the movie.
But again, the play was a long time ago. I mean, that was
Like,
I
at
know.
least
I saw it
5
on
years
Broadway
ago.
too.
I
10
went
years
there.
ago?
Yeah,
Five-
it was
5,
a
10
long time ago.
so we're watching the movie,
Maybe
and Kirk leans over and he's like, "Does this
Because
movie?"
he's not seen. The
He
play.
hadn't seen the play, and he's like,
Does
"Does
this
this
follow?"
follow the play?" And I go, "Not
Not at all. None of it. And then my sister and I mid movie, my mom's like, "This isn't following. Like, there's a talking
goat?
goat."
There
And we're
was
like,
no
"No, mom,
talking
that
goat."
was in the play." She's like, "No, it wasn't. This isn't following it at all. I don't even think she had green skin in the play." And we were like, "Oh, now I trust nothing you say," because she definitely had green skin. That's the whole.
That's the whole
purpose.
point.
That's the
point.
whole point.
But I thought the whole thing, I was like, the movie is very different. And then we
Then
looked
we
up
looked it
after, we're like,
it's
okay,
identical.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Song
'Cause
for
I was gonna say,
song.
how does she and Fierro then share that? Okay, let's also talk about Jonathan Bailey for a second.
I love him.
He is so hot.
I know.
Wait, is this the Prince?
Fierro,
Prince
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fierro.
Fiero.
And then,
He's a
then
babe.
there, you know
Yeah,
what?
hottie hot.
There is some drama with Ariana.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the set because she ended up getting with the Munchkin actor guy with the orange curly hair
She did.
out of his league.
And he,
First of all,
well, every guy she
Second of all,
dates, though.
yeah,
That's
I
her.
know.
Because you know what?
That's her
He's the type
MO.
that would go lick donuts with her.
yeah, no,
That's why.
he's this geeky thespian.
But he was married.
he's been married. He just
Married,
had a baby,
kids,
and then on
and then
set
on
they get
set,
together.
Oh,
Ariana
so
starts licking donuts.
we're not judging him based off of his looks. We're judging him
No.
based off the fact
He
that
was
he
a
was
married man, and they got together with Ariana Grande because he's like, wow, she's out of my league.
Yeah.
And she wants me. Let's go.
Let's go.
And it's
Oh.
sad. We're like, Ariana, you broke up. And then
Bach.
someone's
His
saying
name is Bach.
Yes.
this came up
yes.
because well, she calls him Bick, right? That's funny.
Yeah.
movie.
it's-
Oh, she did?
She keeps being like Bick. He's like, it's Bach.
It's Bach.
But it came up because Jonathan Bailey, I didn't know he was gay. So that
I know.
Bailey was like, my sister's like, I mean, it was the only straight man on set. And I'm like, Jonathan Bailey. And she's like, he's gay. I'm like, I didn't know he played straight characters. And they're like, that doesn't mean he's straight. And so it was like a whole thing. And I was like, I didn't mean that. I just didn't know.
Listen. Yeah. Because he's in Bridgerton too.
Yeah, that's all I know him from.
Well, because
Ladies.
he is gay, we can never hang out. But Jonathan Bailey, if
We
you
can
want to hang
hang
out,
Yeah,
we can at least get a drink and laugh together.
that's true.
And if you need to like go through your sexuality at all, like process it, she's your girl.
How do
Also-
people get a hold
yeah.
of you if they want to contact you?
You can go to my website.
Sarah on the other side
Yeah.
said, donut liquor is going to be my new put down.
Oh, I love it.
Don't be a donut licker.
It's like Buddy the Elf. You lint
You
liquor. You
Yes.
donut liquor.
liquor,
Or it's like,
yeah.
oh, she's a real donut
And once
liquor.
again,
you know what I mean?
if you're gonna lick donuts, don't put it back.
It was
Yeah, just
a
buy it.
publicity stunt. And even if it wasn't, she probably
Listen.
paid them back.
I don't think
I
she did. She
mean,
snuck out. They
no.
caught it on video camera.
You can claim that. I can claim mine.
But-
We'll never know. How can they get a hold
How
of me?
I'm like,
People
how
can-
can you get a hold of me? You can go
People
to
are
my
like,
website,
Wait, can we?
Which
Focus
is-
Heart Clear Mind Counseling.com. It's really long.
That is long. Focused heart, clear mind counseling.
Is there a chat feature in here that we can just put it
Well,
in?
we'll put it on the website. On
on
the,
the
Okay.
description.
Okay.
the description.
Yeah. But
Are you also on Psychology Today?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
on Psychology
That's how the other
Today.
You're
few
on
have been like, just
several-
look me up on Psychology Today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Psychology
You're on several
Today.
websites.
I think I'm also on another one that I can't even remember.
And if you
Googled your
love
name
her,
and it
yeah.
came
and
up
then
on
her
several sites.
schedule's full, she's also a great connector. She connected me to my therapist.
Yeah, I
and
have
love
tons
her.
of
Oh,
referrals
that's
if you also need and we can't like figure out a time.
Also,
I
if
got
you're
great
just
referrals.
if you're just curious about the fairy dust getting you to transport through the wall,
Yeah, let me know.
schedule a session.
which is
Only
great.
Don't be a donut licker.
Don't be a donut licker. There's our takeaway from the whole
Stock
show.
up on Snickers.
Yeah, stock up on
Communicate.
Snickers, communicate timelines, and don't
Buy
lick them.
statements and don't lick donuts.
Don't like donuts.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, this was the packed one.
packed session.
Good tips.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And until next week, go out and bring your neighbor some donuts.
Oh,
that you
And
haven't
come-
had.
that you've licked.
Yeah.
And
No,
come to the
Come to the
Friday
small company party this Friday at the Village, 6 p.m. You can buy tickets at the door. Even
You can,
after.
or you can go to our website. Yeah.
You just
I
want
know,
people
but
to
just don't
come.
be like, oh shoot, I just saw this episode and it's Friday morning. It's like, just come.
Wait a second. Do you have to be a member here?
No.
No. Oh my gosh, great question.
question.
Okay,
No,
I'll give
you
you
just
money
have to
later for
be-
saying that.
You're
you
welcome.
just have to be in the Denver area. You don't even have to be. You could fly in for this because
Come
it'd be worth it.
It'd be worth
It'd be
it.
worth it. You know what I think we need at this party?
Private jet.
A donut wall.
I don't
I don't know. I think that's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Not against it.
I'm not against it. So come for the donuts
Stay for the glam
and the band.
and the live
and
band.
the live band.
Lucky catch.
Lucky Catch. Shout out to Lucky Catch. We love you. Even before you're here, we love your music.
Tess, I could
we're
do this every
excited.
week with you.
I know. We probably should.
We probably
Bye,
should.
everyone. We will see you next
Bye.
week.
Bye.